Surprise! I am filming a video much sooner than I expected, but honestly, I really wanted to celebrate with 2025 ending, going into 2026. I'm like, well, the best time to share everything I read last year would be today. Hello friends, happy Friday. So very excited that you're here. I hope you had a wonderful New Year's. Hopefully you had just a great set or great holidays recently. I really enjoyed my vacation slash break of recovering from my family getting sick. It was really nice. And it's funny because when I've gone on Twitter and I've looked back, I'm like, yeah, you can tell that I'm on break because it's just retweets of some of my favorite art that I have been seeing recently, but I have loved it. And wild enough, I was actually able to read things last month, but it feels again really wild because I felt like time flew by, but I don't really remember half of the month, honestly. But I read 16 things, read some digital manga, surprisingly. I felt there's just so much surprises. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. So I have been reading The Remarried Empress. I don't remember if it was in November or if it was last month, but I did catch up and I was so excited. The latest chapter was very good. I love the direction everything is going. There is a new MVP in the series, and I just never imagined it would be this character because if you're physical manhwa only right now, that character in the last physical volume we got made some not cool decisions. There was a lot of upset, including myself, towards this character, but they have really redeemed themselves, and I never imagined that I'd be desperately hoping for their happiness. I'm very curious. It seems like we're going to be going and focusing on a character we haven't seen in a while because there's quite a few different political things that are happening. Navier is being like incredible with all this planning and whatnot, so I'm curious to see if we're going to be going back to this character, getting more of their backstory. We did get some glimpses of it. I just wondering what that character is going to do now because there was like this very subtle information that was just dropped and it's a big thing and it could potentially change everything going forward. So very curious and excited, still very much loving it. I also read something on K-Manga. We haven't talked about it because I haven't done any manga news videos recently, but that is Kuroko and Her Sweet Villain. It got picked up on K-Manga. This is a 2-volume shoujo series and I decided to give it a try. Ended up using almost all my points to read it and I really enjoyed it. I think if this was going to get picked up at any point next year or in the future, well, I guess to be this year since we're in 2026 now, but if it were, yeah, to get picked up at any point, I do think I would genuinely pick it up physically because I really resonated with the main character in the sense of seeing herself more as a side character, that she is a stagehand to help the main character shine. That really surprisingly resonated with me and hit me differently than I expected, so I felt very invested into her story. Even though it was pretty chill overall, I wouldn't say it's a groundbreaking series, but I really did love the development of the characters. I liked the male lead and how he was sort of playing the bad guy to help her shine and help her see that she is a main character. I felt one of my favorite quotes came from the last 2-3 pages, so I can't tell you what it is, but I felt that it really showed the heart of this very short series. It was very wonderful, and if you ever have any like spare points or spare tickets and you want to give it a try, I would definitely recommend it. It's one I think I would come back to and read, even just digitally, not just physically if it got published, but definitely digitally because of how wonderful it was. The other digital thing that I read is May I Ask for One Final Thing, Volume 4. I loved it. I love how it wrapped up this arc. I'm not even sure what the name of it is right now, but it is with the Saint Diana, and I loved seeing her and Scarlet bond, have some really great moments. The action was on point. It was so good. Love all the fight scenes. Scarlet's kicking butt. She is having her typical self of saying, you know, like, I need gloves because it's no fun punching people when you can't feel your hands. And then she's like, oh, that guy's not very punchable. And she's like, oh, are those punchable people? Really great moments. Had such a such a blast reading. I felt the twist at the end was very good, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what this means for Scarlet, but this was something I was not expecting. I've definitely watched any and every clip that has come in my feed anywhere concerning the ending of the anime. I need to get caught up, but I'm sort of like in this dilemma of like, I want to read the manga first because I'm enjoying it so very much. I mean, this volume definitely was in my top 3, top 5 favorite things that I read this month. I deeply, deeply enjoyed it, and I'm currently struggling to get the next volume. I told myself I was going to do just the physical only, since we did talk about this at some point, that the publisher's printing them, and I do have the first 3 volumes pre-ordered, but I'm like, man, we won't be getting volume 4 probably till 2027, and I don't know if I can wait a whole year to see what happens next. So I'll probably just continue my double dipping. I have some points saved on Amazon because right now it's the only place I know of that you can get it. I mean, I think you can read on the publisher's website. I'm not actually sure. I felt their website when I looked a while back was very hard to navigate, but yeah, I could get it currently for free, so that's probably what I'm gonna do. But I know I'm holding out for the next volume of Love That's Understatement Volume 7, so to be determined which one I get, but just know that I'm really, really enjoying the manga. It is fantastic, and I would highly, highly recommend it. I do have a 3-volume review here if you want to check it out and get all my thoughts. It was amazing, so very good. But let's go into the physical things that I read. I only read one Viz manga last month, and that was Girl Crush Volume 4. This was so good. Definitely my top 3 as well. Honestly, I wrestled between this one and another volume if it was my favorite read, because I feel like the Tenka didn't get as much spotlight this volume, but I feel like the development and the growth we saw in the 2 other girls was fantastic. In fact, I was blown away by this female lead. Getting more of her inside thoughts of how she views herself, the struggles that she has, was really, really well written. I was, again, completely blown away. I didn't expect to feel such emotions reading that and feel like, wow, this character is more relatable than I thought when we first met her, when I felt very concerned. And then the other girl as well, I can't think of her name, but this girl here, her story as well was so good. And I love getting and seeing her motivations of why she's dancing, of why she's doing what they do. Tenka and her have a really great conversation that really challenges her, and seeing that challenge come to its fullness later on in the volume, perfection, 10 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed this. If you're not reading Girl Crush, I would highly suggest it, especially if you've been looking for a shoujo, not romantic focused sports series. Yes, it is about becoming an idol, becoming a singer and dancer and whatnot, but like, it really does feel written like a sports manga, and I'm loving every single moment of it. I cannot wait for the next one. I unfortunately did not read any Kodansha manga. Like, I did get Kodansha manga, I just haven't read it yet. So it's not like I'm not supporting them or getting them. But the next up would be Yen Press and IZE Press. The only manhwa I believe I read was Marriage of Convenience Volume 2. This series continues to be so good. One of my favorite manhwa that I've read this year. I don't know what I'm gonna do in 2 weeks, because next Friday we'll have the Shoujo Say Rap video, and then after that I will be talking about what is my favorite read of 2025, and I'll also do like something separate for, it'll be within that video, but I'll have something separate focusing on manhwa. Easily in my top 3 favorite manhwa I've read this year, and I really feel like if you had some issues with the female lead in Volume 1 of her being really harsh and strict and not overly likable, I really think that you will like her a lot in Volume 2. We see much more of a softer side of her. We get some flashbacks that were very emotional and really just are opening up that there's been so much that this female lead has gone through that I don't even think as a reader we know the fullness of how the hardship was. Like, I know it, but I don't know if I know the fullness of it, and this volume really gave a good glimpse into everything that she's gone through. The romance is so good, very slow burn. Really, really love how they are bonding over things with horses. Never would have expected it. There's definitely some great humor. I love one of my favorite moments because she wants to learn how to ride horseback. They're like, you have to go, ask the Lord to get permission if you can do this. And she's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to ask him. He's gonna say no. But he said yes, and she totally cheered. So there's really great humorous moments like this, and I'm definitely shipping a side couple who really isn't a couple, but I want them to be at some point. I am very leery of this new guy that came on the scene near the end. No, warning bells are flying. This guy is bad news. I hope we will not see much of him, but the narrator is definitely telling us more or less, or at least implying, yes, we will see more of this character. I'm not looking forward to seeing that character. No, period, gone. Get him off page. Like, you just know he is bad news, okay? You just know. I am surprised that this is one of the funniest volumes I read this month. It's probably gonna sound weird because it's volume 7 of A Reincarnated Witch Spells Doom. It's funny because this isn't a funny series. I mean, yes, it has some moments, but like, we see Isaac again, who was a character earlier on in the series who really gave off this aura, this vibe that he's a bad guy. We got to know him, we find out his motivations, and we see like, oh, he's actually like his motivations lining up with the female lead kind of thing. Well, he comes back and he makes a demand that he's going to be doing this, and they're like, I don't really think you could do that because of your aura. And he's like, I could change my aura. And he changed his aura, and the way he changes it was hilarious. I gave this volume 5 stars on Goodreads. I mean, it's probably a 4-star read, honestly, but that humor was just so on point and so unexpected, and I really just enjoyed my time reading it a lot because of it. But I really did enjoy how this was more of a, I feel like a Keith-focused transition volume. There were things happening in the previous volume at the end where Keith is really trying to prove himself, and he is struggling in if he's able to do that, to be by our caller's side. I'm pretty sure, right? She's the caller and he's the steer. That's what he is. But yeah, so he is struggling with that, and he's having this fight with a certain character. It really takes a large part, not the fight, but a large part of him struggling, wanting to be more, and then having that moment, that breakthrough where he's like, okay, I know what I want to do. Maybe I'm not really there in the best of ways standing by her side, but this is what I want. And I really, really liked that. It was a great moment for Keith. Felt like we got to bond with him as like a reader and character more, and really enjoyed it. I'm excited. I think I was more nervous about, no, the ending went out in a really, really good way. So I'm curious of where things are going to go in the next volume. It's up in the air. Hopefully good things. We really don't know, but hopefully also that volume 8 will not take a long time to release or get pushed back as much as this one. Oh my goodness, I am shocked how much I love this. This was another one very, very good, and that's volume 1 of Even a Replica Can Fall in Love, volume 1 of the manga. Oh my goodness. So this series, or this volume, excuse me, was very interesting. I was very excited about it because it's by the same light novelist of If the Villainess and Villain Met and Fell in Love, and I love the manga of that series. So I knew that even if it wasn't like the manga was different, that I wanted to try this just because of who the light novelist was. I was surprised because it starts off with very wholesome, like there's some mystery there. We don't really know why she's a replica and how this replica is able to be and be sort of summoned whenever the actual main girl wants her to be summoned in, but how this replica was wanting to do more and be like her own person with this certain guy, the male lead. Oh, I loved it. Very cute, very wholesome. Has me like giggling, squealing because I'm like, yes, like the romance I think is about to be blooming and unfolding. And no, we had a really great moment. And I'm like, yes, this is amazing. But then things sort of get flipped up on their head and we find out something about another character, and I'm like, what does this mean? And also the main, not the main girl, but the main girl in the sense that the replica comes from makes a decision, and she even says some things, and it's just like, okay, what started as what felt like a cozy romance is leading into that mystery sci-fi element that this book or this series has. I saw reviews saying they really didn't feel like this had a lot of depth in the sense of we don't get that explanation of why she's a replica, we're just getting a general hint. I found that was perfect for me. I honestly think if it had been more heavy on that I would have not enjoyed this much as I wanted or much as I did. I really like the romance element, but I don't know if that's going to be a focus. I feel like this is going to be a series where this female lead is really learning to come into her own, but it makes it complicated because how can you do that if you're just a replica of an actual real person? How does that work? So I think that's definitely going to be more explored, and I look forward to it, but I just hope that me wanting that romance doesn't go away. So if you want something that's pretty easygoing, but then takes a twist near the end and has more, I think, going to be layers, this is one I would definitely suggest and recommend checking out. I know it's got an anime coming. I don't know when, but I will be seated and I definitely will be getting volume 2. Oh my goodness, shout out to Yen Press. They sent me a review copy of this, and as soon as it arrived, within like 30 minutes, I started reading it. Even though it comes out next month, that is double the trouble, twice as nice volume 2, and look how chunky this volume is. I was so excited. I loved this volume. I continue to love this series. I definitely have volume 1 in my top 12 favorite reads of 2025. This one I didn't put in my top 5 reads of December, mainly because Ren made a decision. So I should say I couldn't give it a full 5 stars. I gave it 4 stars. Still absolutely loved it, getting volume 3. But the thing is Ren made a decision that really upset me. And I was like, bro, no, you didn't just do this. But here's the thing. He makes this decision. He knows he's in the wrong. And I feel like the rest of the volume, not just for Ren, but Yuri too, that we see this incredible character growth, but especially for Ren, and that we see that he knows, again, that he messed up, but we see the actions that he takes after that, how he apologized. We love to see a man apologize in this house. And then to also see him make active change to show, hey, I'm not going to do that. I messed up. And I promise I won't do that again. And he does not. He treats her so respectfully, so wonderfully. I honestly thought we might even have a moment of our leads getting together really early. That doesn't quite happen, but I actually was happy because of that character growth. Like, I was thriving in seeing that. And it's not just for Ren, but Yuri too. I feel like near the end, she absolutely shined when she gets to know another character and then she stands up to the previous guy that she was dating. Oh my goodness. It was awesome. I wish I could have cheered for her, gave her a hug. I was so proud of her for telling him, hey, I'm a person. I'm not an object. And a few other things. Like, she was just absolutely slaying. Really, really brave and really great stuff. So yeah, I love it so much. I'm so thankful I was influenced by my friend Fire and Gira to check it out because I love it a lot. And I really think it's not necessarily a slow burn romance. You could definitely tell there's feelings there. And there's that exploration of feelings for Yuri at least, of what does she do? She's got them, but there's the whole age gap thing and her questioning things. Also, I will say too, if you're curious about how the whole thing works with Ren being a kid, it was explained and it was really good. And I was like, oh my gosh. Then we had that whole total thing at the end where we find out this information. I'm like, this is going to change some pretty big things for both of them concerning their futures in a non-romantic sense. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, what I was trying to say earlier is if you're looking for a story where you really see character growth happening volume by volume, this is one you should definitely check out. I love the romance. I'm shipping them so hard, and I hope that time of them being together in an actual relationship comes sooner rather than later, but I will definitely be here along the way to see it slowly unfold as well. Oh my goodness, this was the last thing that I read in 2025, and it was like the perfect way to end the year, and that's Suzuki-kun's Mindful Life Volume 2. So wholesome. I do have a first impression of Volume 1, and I really, really enjoyed it, but let me tell you, Volume 2 exceeded everything. There was something so special about seeing Suzuki really be able to explore his hobbies with other people. One of my favorite quotes is when he is in this club, he's trying it out, and he tells them, he's like, I've never been able to share my hobbies with anyone like this before. Sorry, I learned how to cook and sew from books online, always by myself. And I'm like, Suzuki, buddy, like, you just cannot help but be excited for him. I was so proud of the decision that he makes involving a certain character that we saw pop up at the end of Volume 1. I was with his best friend like, bro, you need to stay away from him, Suzuki. Don't even interact with him. But the way he handled that, was able to speak his feelings to this person, was so amazing, so brave, so strong, and I just love seeing him have a different high school experience. It has been wonderful. I am thriving reading this. If you want something that it doesn't seem to have any romance, I mean, Suzuki has a crush on somebody, and that was really cute how things were happening with that. But yeah, if you don't really want any kind of romance, you want something about a male lead who enjoys doing things that are not traditional male roles, as well as if you're a fan of Otomen and want something maybe similar, but again without that romance, this is one you need to try. Or if you just want something wholesome and cozy and just inspires you, makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, though I will say the ending for me was actually triggering, because when, I can't remember his best friend's name, but this guy right here, we see more into his life when we meet a certain character, him and Suzuki do, or he introduces Suzuki to them. It was really upsetting for me, and I had to really reel in my emotions because I could relate very, very strongly to him. I went through the same situation, and it was hard. So I would just say, I guess, you know, be mindful maybe. I don't know if I should say what the spoiler is. I don't think I said in my Goodreads review either, but I would just say the ending is far more emotional than I expected. unexpected when I was having such a great time reading the whole volume, only to get to the end and I'm like, oh my goodness, my heartstrings are really being pulled on in a different kind of way than it was throughout the volume. Now we'll go into VIZ Reads, and this was my first read of December, and that is the Too Perfect Saint Volume 4 of the manga. So I read Volume 3. I was sort of on the fence of getting it, not because I disliked it, because I do have a first impression of Volume 1, and I loved it. Really enjoyed Volume 2, but just budgeting was budgeting. And then I read Volume 3, and I said, I need more, and Volume 4 was fantastic. I truly love the direction. I definitely cried reading this though, because we get some news, we find out something near the end, and man, my heart just absolutely broke. It was hard. It was really, really hard. But I love seeing how there's a new character on the scene, a different prince, and how, goodness, I can't remember names this morning, but how our female Mia, of how she is really pushing, inspiring, encouraging this prince to really step out and be brave. And when we see the after effects of that, the aftermath of all of this that she's been doing to get him to a certain position, a certain spot, so good. And I really, really love seeing our female lead just shine in this other world, the way that she's doing things, the way she's using her words and expressing herself. Honestly, I just felt like the volume was pretty emotional because you're seeing both of these girls really, they know that they have these weaknesses or these struggles and how they are starting to accept them. Before they like denied that part of themselves, but now they're like, okay, I struggle with this, I experience this, or this is something I know that is one of my weaknesses. It was really powerful to see them again, to address it, but how they're able to move forward, and that sort of these fears that they had, they're not as alone as they ever imagined they would be. It has been fantastic. I'm definitely invested. I added Volume 5 and Volume 6 to my pre-order list because I'm like, I am not ready to say goodbye to these characters. It really reminded me of how much I loved the previous volumes and why I want to stick with this series and why it's just so good. The next one I did say is my favorite read of this month, and that is, or December, and that is It Takes More Than a Pretty Face to Fall in Love, Volume 4. Oh my goodness. I really struggle between this and Girl Crush because both were so good for different reasons. But ultimately, when I came back through this, I was squealing. It was so good. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. It's just the ending was perfection. How characters said things, how they admitted things. Seeing our female lead really, I don't want to say I like seeing her struggle throughout the volume. Oh my goodness, my heart was breaking. But honestly, our male lead had some character growth here. Like, I feel Sana, that is her name, I believe. Yeah. I feel Sana has had character growth. She's still herself. She still loves pretty faces. But the way that she recognizes like, hey, this might make the male lead feel senpai feel a certain way, and she tries to reel it in, not in a way where she's not being true to herself, but it felt like she was being mindful. I don't know, it was just a really interesting thing to me. Granted, he knows and he accepts that part of her, and so I really love how just both of our leads are using some communication and seeing the effects of that communication. That's part of why it was my favorite read of this month. And also the guy, the other pretty face guy, I don't want to show a picture of him in case nobody has seen him yet, but I loved how he played a major role, how bro's not afraid to say what he needs to say to senpai, and how really he's just truly encouraging to Sana. I could see this becoming a love triangle at some point. I don't ship the other guy. I definitely ship these two very strongly, but I do like the other dude, and I hope that that doesn't change at any point in the series, but I hope that he's not trying to become an interloper either at any point. We didn't see much of the best friend, which was a little bit of a bummer, but I feel like this was such an emotional volume for Sana and her realizing her feelings that, hey, she really likes senpai. Like, we've known this, but now it's like her admitting to herself, and then other things were happening. So everything was just so good. Love the art so much, and just truly love the ending. Those words coming out like that senpai realized like, hey, you need to get, like the guy said, get out your head, go tell Sana what you need to say, and actively listen and actively communicate. And so I love that. That's always something really exciting to find in manga in general, not just shoujo manga, but I really appreciate that when we get it with romance. So good. So wonderful volume, very squeal worthy, lots of exciting developments. Oh my goodness, this series ended last month, and that was Last Game Volume 11. This final volume was everything. It was perfect. There's nothing I would change about this volume and all the shenanigans we've had throughout the series, but seeing everything come together so we can get to this kind of ending right here, this kind of happy ending, wonderful. So wonderful. I was so happy for Yanagi. I was so happy that he he didn't have to be delusional about his feelings or thinking that he knew what our girl was saying. I can't think of her name right now either. But that, yeah, Cujo. But he didn't have to worry. He knew the truth. And I love seeing him just wanting to move forward in a relationship, how that looked like, how the ending, the epilogue, everything was so fantastic. And I really look forward to rereading this series. I'm going to be doing something with Patreon and channel members throughout this year, where at the first of every month that they can vote on series I have in a poll, sort of similar to the Shoujo quizzes, where I'm just going to pull from my list randomly, like using a generator, and then they can vote on which series they would like to see me read and review. And I will just say I'm excited for when this is chosen or when this wins, however it works, because I want to come back and do a video review because I think it's a very special series. And now I understand why so many people who have read Last Game have loved it and speak so highly of it. It's a really funny, goofy, over-the-top series. You gotta be here for the slow burn, the Delulu slow burn, I should say. I really, really enjoyed it. It was great, and I just feel like out of the previous volumes we've had, this made everything worth it. Because there was a few times I'm like, I just don't know. But then I read this, and I felt like I was on cloud nine. In fact, I was staying up in my kitchen reading this. I think I was supposed to be like making lunch, and I blew off lunch. I said, whatever, this is too happy. This is just everything I was hoping for and more. So very strong ending of the series. If you've been unsure about it, maybe you fell off almost like I did, I would suggest coming back just to see that ending. It is wonderful. And last but not least, for 7 Cs, I reread my favorites, Class with a Chance of Delinquent. What is there to say? I love this series so very much. I plan actually to reread all of the physical volumes because I had them all right here, and maybe I'll do that before the next Glasses volume comes out, since it is coming out this month. I'm very excited because I did post the Shoujo calendar, I believe, last week, I think. But yeah, I love it so much. I just find new things about this series every time I reread it. It is so wonderful. Still #1 shoujo favorite for me. Can't get enough of it, and eventually we will also have a review of this. I do believe I have it on that list to ask Patreon channel members what we should read, because as much as I've gushed about this, I've never done a first impression or a full video. And I'm like, I need a video for my faves because I just love them so much, and I can't wait for another volume and to reread the other volumes. Next up is my only Square Enix read, and that is Always a Catch Volume 5. Oh my goodness, the shenanigans are shenanigan. I love the wrap up of the previous arc, finding out some of the motivations of the lady who caused a bunch of chaos and a bunch of other things in the previous volume. My heart really hurt for her, honestly, and I thought it was really great storytelling to make me feel some compassion for her, because I didn't really feel, I thought she was just sort of crazy unhinged, as I was saying in the other volumes, so I didn't really think much about it. But then finding out more about, again, her motivations and why she did what she did, I was like, girl just needs a hug. Girl just needs a hug. So I hope there'll be good things in store for her. I don't know if I'll ever see her again, but it was great. But what made this volume even greater after the wrapping up of that previous arc is that our prince is meeting Mimi's family, and the shenanigans, they were there. Oh my goodness. I laughed, had a great time. There was a romantic bit, and I just will ask, how long is it gonna take before we see them actually kiss? I'm like, just when you think it's about to happen, no, it doesn't. And the character I thought it would be wasn't the character who was the one interfering and making sure that they did not. I said, just give it to them already. Let them kiss already. It was great though. Really, really loved it. I'm interested in the upcoming arc because it feels like it's going to take a shift in some intensity. Like Mimi, I'm not the biggest fan of this new character that joined the scene, mainly because Mimi doesn't like them, but I will say I do enjoy them on page because they do make Mimi really upset, and it is funny to see, as bad as I feel for saying that, but I really love it. It continues to be as funny as always, and a really, really great time. Excited for the anime and that more people will be able to experience this series, because if you need something not necessarily over the top, it does have those moments, but you want a little bit of a punchy villainous, not the same way Scarlet is, just a girl who knows martial arts, can defend herself with a very sweet, wholesome romance and plenty of things that make you laugh. This series is it. It continues to be a joy to read. Also, another series that's been one of my favorites. I have a different volume in my top 12 favorite reads of this year, or 2025, and I loved it so much. Just love this one as well. Can't wait for the next volume. And last but not least, I was surprised to get this early, and that's Topeki Honeymoon Volume 2. I gave this 4 stars. I love the over-the-top. Now, this is over-the-top humor and shenanigans, okay? I loved it, but man, there is a character that we met in Volume 1, and he has such page time at the beginning of Volume 2, and I could not stand it. I could not give it a 5-star because of that man. Like, ugh. He irks me, boils my blood. I'm like, get off the page, get off the page. We don't want you here. So when he gets off the page, oh my goodness, yes, it was so funny. I never imagined that there would be like an attempt at a double kidnapping, the shenanigans that ensue. I know I keep using that word, but it's just one that is so bizarre that you just can't think about it and you just roll with it and laugh and have a great time. Because if it's not this guy's family, the Millie's family, intervening and saying, hey, we need to do operation, get them closer together. I forgot what he called it, but they did say an operation. If it's not them having some operation to get them closer, then it's outside forces of people wanting to do a kidnapping. And if it's not that, then there's something else that's playing a role that's just causing these crazy things to happen. It really reminds me of Takane and Hana, where it's just over the top. I mean, you're just here for the shenanigans, having a good time. Very similar situation, though the romance is definitely different because our male lead is nothing like Takane at all. So yeah, I would say if you like Takane and Hana, you probably would enjoy this series. I definitely continue to enjoy it, and I look forward to the next volume. I was really proud of our female lead for really owning her feelings that she's starting to have. That was a very sweet and precious moment. Definitely one of my favorites. Her best friend was very much the MVP. I'm like, girl, yes, tell her. Just because our female lead thinks that the male lead's hot, that doesn't mean that her feelings don't go deeper, that she has much realer feelings than just being attracted to him physically. Yeah, I had a great time, and it is such a wonderful way to end and wrap up this video. As you can see, I read plenty of really fun things. I don't think there was anything, wait, there was one thing, I did forget one read, but yeah, otherwise I loved everything so much. It was great. I definitely made sure to read plenty of funny things. I have some things on my shelf that I think are gonna make me cry, so that will be for future me this month. And yeah, I would love to hear from you, friends. What did you read last month? Did you do any reading? Is there anything you're looking forward to that's coming out this month? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!